Welcome back to Candy Unfiltered, where we get real, raw, and sometimes a little rowdy in the best way possible, of course. I'm your host, Candy Cox, and today I'm joined by someone who's on a mission to change the world in the way that the youth look at it. My friend, Bekka Wilkerson. She is the executive director for Impact One Foundation and the force behind Project Prom Saline County. Whether she's equipping tomorrow's leaders or making sure every teen feels like royalty the night of prom, Bekka brings compassion and clarity to everything she touches. Let's dive into her journey and her heart behind these powerful ministries.
This episode is brought to you by Pretties and Grace, a faith-based boutique offering high-quality home decor and gifts at prices for every budget. From stunning vases and greenery to statement seasonal pieces for every holiday, plus the sweetest gifts, they truly have it all. Pretties and Grace has 3 locations, their main store in the heart of downtown Benton, along with shops in Malvern and Fayetteville. You can also browse and shop online at prettiesandgrace.com. A huge thank you to Pretties and Grace for sponsoring this episode.
Bekka, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that you finally got to come on.
Yes, me too. I can't believe it took us so long.
I know. I know. Now, you and I go back quite a ways.
We do.
A
day or two.
A day or two. We met way back when Moby Dick was a minnow.
Exactly. Exactly.
We went to church together, and you were helping in the small kids area with like special needs children. And I had my daughter Anne Marie in there. And if you remember, I was a nervous wreck.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I remember. And she's a grown woman now. I saw her the other day and my mouth just fell open. My heart was so full.
Can you believe she's 20?
That's crazy.
It's super, super crazy.
Oh.
I can't believe it. I just can't. Anyways. And she's like a grandma. We do call her little Granny at home.
Granny, I love that.
Granny. She gets up in the morning and she puts her robe on and she, comes kind of bent over slowly to the coffee pot and she pours herself a cup of coffee and she sits she has her spot at the breakfast table. And I just laugh sometimes and I go, all she needs is a cigarette and a paper.
And a cat.
And a cat. But she drinks her coffee. She takes her time in the morning, and that's been the beauty about homeschooling is she can do that.
She can on her own little pace in her own little world.
That's right. That's right. But you set my mind at ease because with her condition, as you know, anything that causes trauma to her skin or, and back then she also had really bad if she got hurt, she would have seizures.
Oh, yeah.
Pain-induced seizures, and you were so good about setting my mind at ease, and so it's been a minute from the nursery area. Now she's 20.
20.
We've known each other for a while.
Oh, wow.
And we both have served in ministry.
Yes, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah, we both have a heart for people and children, and it's just been really cool. Myself watching your journey throughout the years, and you're a BB.
I am a baby.
Is that what he calls you?
I am. He does.
Yeah, so we're Lolly and Pop. And so, and of course, that's a play off of my name,
Right.
Candy, Lolly, and Pop,
Right.
Lollipop. And so, and what
Speedy is Pops. We're Pops and BB.
Pops and BB.
Pops
Now,
and BB.
how did you come up with BB?
So since I am second mom,
Right.
I was not at a place where I was willing to fight for grandma names.
Right.
Like, because the other side of Oliver's family has lots of women in it, and yet we've already got all of these women with their own grandma names. I thought, I'm just not going to fight with anybody.
Right.
I'm the only B.
Yeah.
So, and babies, of course, B's and D's
Yeah.
first, and I wanted to be first.
Of course.
So it made perfect sense to me to be BB to capitalize on both of those things.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Nobody else was kind of into that. There was a lot of thought that went into it. Because I loved my grandmother was my favorite person in the whole world.
Yeah.
And I called her Gam,
Yes.
but I also called her old woman.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, a man stopped me in church one day and said, "You should be ashamed. I heard you call her old woman." And she spun around and said, "Well, she loves me and I am old." And I thought, well, there's that.
I love those spunky grandmas that we had. I mean, my Mamaw, I called her Mamaw, she's a big woman, and she had that really deep, rusty, voice. You
Right.
did not mess with her, and you did not mess with her babies.
No,
You did not.
no.
She was fearless.
My grandma
I think I get a lot of my personality from my Mamaw. So, she's fearless, and I just love that about her, but she'd snap back so
just
quick.
right in the middle of you
Oh,
so
yeah.
fast.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I might be guilty.
Yeah.
Well, my gram, she was 5 foot nothing, but she sure would, like, if she wanted him to know real quickly that it was none of his business what I called her. I loved her and I call her whatever I wanted. So if someday Oliver calls me old woman, I guess I'll just have to deal with it too.
Yeah.
Though I am not.
Now, my son, of course, I am not either, but my son Corey, he likes to tell me frequently how close I am to the nursing home. That he gets to make the final decision. I know. If I'm getting on to him about something or, snap back at him about something, he goes, "I'm just saying you're really close to the nursing home."
Shady Pines, Ma. Shady Pines.
That's right. That's right. But he's like 6'1", and I'm 5'1.5" on my best days. And so I tell him he's got to stay around to reach the things that I cannot.
How am I going to get the things off the top shelf, right?
Exactly. So he says because of that he gets to make the decision on when I go in.
I'm not sure that's how that
I
works.
know. I hope my saving grace will be at least the girls.
Right. Exactly.
And the boys will
Exactly.
pitch in every once in a while. But
100%.
so you started Project Prom years ago. So tell me about that.
I didn't start it.
Okay.
But Dana Mattingly started it.
Okay, yeah.
When her daughter was young, it was something that they did together. And as she got older, she just found less and less time for it.
Yeah.
And at the time that I found out about it, I'd actually just gotten the ministry there at the church to be a part of the Tim Tebow prom.
Right.
And we were feverishly, like, we were supposed to provide all these things. And the Tebow Foundation gave us a small grant,
Right.
but it was not enough grant to cover dresses for 300 people.
Right.
I mean, when we had the prom the first year, it was ginormous.
Right.
So what are we going to do about suits and dresses? How are we going to take care of these people? So happenstance, at the same time, Dana had decided that it was too much for her family and was getting ready to move all the dresses from their location and just get rid of everything. And I reached out to her and we were just a little match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So like I said, we lost the space where they were in shortly after I took over. So we took my father-in-law's covered trailer and put all of the dresses that we had in it. And I fit girls out of my driveway when we used to live in Benton over by the football field. I had girls come to my house and they would pick out dresses out of the trailer and we'd either take them in the garage or we'd take them in the house and they'd try them on until we found a space.
Right.
Which was a thing unto itself.
Yeah.
Because there's no budget. Like
Right.
we didn't have a budget for Project Prom. We're not an official nonprofit. We don't fundraise. We just exist. And we managed to get in the old White House by old Benton High School over there where the city hall is now.
Right.
And we were in that old White House for years. And then Mayor Farmer called me and said, "Hey, we're going to bulldoze that house. And it's full of prom dresses. Do you know anything about that?" I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot about that. What am I supposed to do? But graciously, he offered me one of the 2 metal buildings that's between City Hall and the football field back there and said, "It's yours." Council voted on it. We went through the whole rigmarole so that we were formal on paper.
Right.
And they rented it to me for the rest of my life as long as I'm providing a service to the community for nothing.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's been a process. Moving all those dresses was, I mean, there's better than 1,000 dresses in there.
Right.
That building is full.
Yeah.
So it was a several day process. I had some gentlemen that I may have conned into helping me. I said, "Oh, I just need your help to move a few dresses.
A few
and,
dresses.
it won't take us very long." And then they showed up and were like, "What is all of this?"
I didn't say how big their dresses were or how many there were.
Some, it's very like, it is some. Some could be a lot, some could be a little,
That's
some could be thousands of dresses. But we got it all done. It took me a while to get things lined out. But this year, we gave out, oh goodness, I should have looked at that number again. I know that it was better than 200 dresses from the beginning of the year through the end of prom season, which is late April, early May.
Right.
I mean, 300 dresses.
Wow.
It's a lot.
That is a lot, and what a great ministry to, these girls because, man, when you go shopping for prom
Oh my goodness.
dresses, I mean, the cost is it's
Astronomical.
it is astronomical. It really is, and, we want for every kid to be able to go to prom, and, it's something that, they remember the rest of their lives,
Absolutely.
and, the last thing you want is for any, youth to feel like they can't afford to go. When I was young, you could rent prom dresses.
I don't even know if you can, like,
I don't
they had that thing online, like Rent the Runway or something, but I
Right.
think that's still like a gajillion dollars to
Yeah.
do that because
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
designer gowns or
Right.
whatever, but there's not anything affordable
Right.
than
No.
that.
No. I mean, yeah, exactly. Even that's not the cheapest route to go, and you want them to feel beautiful and
Absolutely.
handsome
Mhm.
and not feel, looked down upon, and so what a great ministry. Now when do you start taking the prom dresses, and do you take suits as well or just
We
dresses?
don't have as many suits, but
Uh-huh.
it is a need. So it's
Okay.
something that I would continue. Like, we have a few separates, like some dress shirts that have been dropped off or some slacks. Slacks are hard
Yeah.
because like you could get a size 34 waist in any pants length.
Right.
And then when you get them, you can continue to make them pretty much any pants length.
Right.
So when we get stuff like that, it's difficult, but we are trying to pull more of that in.
Uh-huh.
It is really, I collect all the time. You can go on the Facebook page and send me a message, and if I can get there, like, I'll meet or I'll pick them up, like, whatever that looks like, especially if you have a lot. I've had some dress shops that have gone out of business that have given me their leftover inventories. I have some brand new things in there,
That's awesome.
still, and then people who just they'll borrow or they'll come to get something and say, "Well, I have this that doesn't fit anymore. Can you use it?" Absolutely. Absolutely, I can.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about it, though, it's just such a special place. Like, there was something special about the house when it was in the house, and I was worried that when we moved out of there, like, it would lose that thing,
Right.
whatever it was, and it has not diminished it one bit. And I very rarely tell how my process behind things. But I had a lady ask me, and she loved the story, so I've tried to share it more. I get the hard to fit girls that come in who are like at the end of their rope and feel like they can't find anything. It's not a convenient size for everybody, something that you can find easily. And like, for example, I had a young lady who was not a size 2 come in, and she just thought there's not going to be anything in here for me. And she looked and she looked. And I finally, I try to let them have their space and not a mom over them because not everybody likes that.
Excuse me.
Bless you. So I let her have her space, and I could tell, like, I could just feel she was getting upset. So I walked over and I said, "Is there something I can help you with?" And she was crying. And she said, "There's nothing in here for me." And I said, "No, no, that's not what we're doing today. This is not a crying place. This is a happy tears place. Like, tell me what you want." So she gave me a few parameters, and I said, "Just give me a second. Stay up here and look." And this has happened so many times. I just walked to the back of the building and I just prayed for a few minutes. Like, "God, I know there's something in here. I just feel like there's something in here for her. Would you please just," like, I always feel like it's a dumb thing to ask, but it's not. Like, there's nothing that's too small
That's
to
right.
ask for.
There's nothing too small and there's nothing too big for our God,
No.
and He cares about the very intricate details of our lives,
Every single thing.
even down to the prom dress.
Like, help me find this dress for
Yeah.
her. And not once has it not happened.
Yeah.
Every single time I've gotten in that situation and gone in the back and prayed, I have walked up, picked up a dress, and handed it to a girl, and she took it home. Every single time. So I've really started trying to tell that story more because I think it's important. Like,
Yeah.
it's a testimony, like a huge testimony for one thing, but, just to know that the big things and the small things, and that I'm here and I'm praying for you and I'm going to do whatever I can do to help you feel good about yourself.
Right.
It's so important.
It is.
So important.
It is. And I mean, at any age for us young ladies, older ladies, we always want to feel good about the way we look. And, sometimes if it's a struggle financially or it's a struggle with your weight or with your body shape or build, I mean, poor Anne Marie, hers isn't about anything but how small she is. Like, I mean, it's so hard for her. She's 20 years old and has to still shop in the young girls department,
And you never know what you're going to get there.
and you never know. I mean, she doesn't want to look like a little girl.
No.
And so it's really, really hard. And having that space and that place where a young lady can come in and, be provided with such a fantastic ministry and feel good about how they're going to look on prom night. I mean, it's just everything at that
It is.
age. It really is. You're finding yourself, you're finding out who you are. Unfortunately, we live in a day, and I think kids for generations out have a tendency where they can be really ugly and say ugly things at that age. But when you're so much more vulnerable because of your circumstances, like I said, whether it's financial or your body build or weight or
home
your home, whatever the case may be, but to be able to walk out and know that you're going to feel and look so special on that day. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful ministry that you're providing to the community.
Speedy and I inevitably every year have this conversation towards the end of November, beginning of December, when it's time to like make sure everything's in place and
Right.
like I'm looking at my calendar trying to figure out when I'm going to put fittings so that I can have as much time for these girls as possible. Every year he looks at me and is like, "Is this the year that you're going to hand it off to somebody else? Like, is it too much for you? Like, where are we at?" And every year I think about it for just a second, but and it's because it's so hard being in the trenches of trying to make all that fit together and work and be there for everybody. And not everybody's super gracious, and that's okay. Like, that's life.
Right.
You just take it and roll.
Right.
Take the lumps and roll.
That's right.
But after those hard nights, I'm like, yep, this is the year. I'm done. We're not doing it anymore. But it never fails.
It's ministry, isn't it?
I still am never coming back.
Done with
I'm
this.
selling everything. Just set it on fire. I'm out.
And then it's like that voice of the Lord telling you, nope, I've called you to this.
Right.
Yeah.
May rolls around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so sad that all these wonderful people are done with me. I can't wait until next year.
Exactly.
Every time.
So how do the girls and the young men, how do they connect with you? Is it through Facebook? Is it
Facebook is my lifeline for Project Prom. So
Yeah.
they upgraded things about a year ago where I can set open appointment dates and people can just go in. So I can tell you when I'm available.
Yeah.
And then you just go and put your name in and we both show up there at the same time and make the magic
Oh,
happen.
yeah, that's
So it's very nice.
that takes it
Great
off of
feature.
takes a tremendous amount off of years.
Because I was maneuvering a Google document, a Google form, and a Google sheet, and a calendar, and making it. This just works so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
So it's a
Wonderful.
quick and easy process. You just go in, put your name on the line,
Yeah.
and press send, and you got me.
That's awesome. So you're the executive director for Impact One Foundation.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I know about you, as long as I've known you, is your heart for ministering to young people
Yes.
and to the youth. And so let's talk about that.
I was in developmental disability for years.
Right.
I left the for-profit world and went into nonprofit and have never looked back. I loved nonprofit life. I can't see I guess if I had to do it to pay the bills, I'd do it. But my preference is going to be to stay in nonprofit till I can't work anymore when I'm 150 years old. But I always said, my love for developmental disability community is so strong. Like, I don't know what would ever pull me away from that.
Yeah.
And then my first love came back to me in the form of sports and athletics and extracurricular activities. Like, sports changed my life when I was a kid.
Right.
I had the potential to go down a very, very bad path.
Well, you were a bodybuilder, right?
I was.
Yeah.
In my older, younger days.
Yeah, you were a bodybuilder.
Yeah, I very rarely.
You
If
were
it's
a
an
hottie.
activity, thanks. Like, I don't like to say no to these opportunities. Like, if it's a stretch for me or something to grow me in a different way or to be a part of something that is new or different, like, I'm okay, well, whatever, we'll try it. But yes, I don't know that I'll ever go back to that. That was a lot of everything.
Yeah.
A lot of except food. There was not a lot of food, but it was a lot of everything else.
Yes. Yeah.
But I knew, like, there were coaches who invested in me and saw something in me and opportunities that were placed in my path for me to either take them and run or run away from them.
Right.
And I know what a huge difference that made in my life. Like, it changed the trajectory of everything, gave me opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise had.
Right.
So if I can do something to provide that opportunity for another young girl or a young man who is at that same crossroads, then I absolutely want to do that.
Right.
However we can.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk about exactly what Impact One Foundation does.
We exist with the sole purpose of providing opportunities for young people to follow their passion, and whatever that is. If it's a sport, if it's basketball or baseball or football, if it's coding or computers, all that mumbo jumbo that I don't know about, I would figure it out if that was what your kid was passionate about, or music or acting, whatever that is. We want them to have the opportunity to pursue that passion without concern for the family's financial situation. So we don't want mom to have to decide if we're going to keep the lights on this month or if little Johnny's going to stay in baseball.
Right.
It's just not fair to anybody.
Right.
And there's enough opportunity for everybody, so why not make it accessible?
Right.
But until we can make everything free,
Yeah.
we are here. We provide our two biggest programs. We provide tuition assistance for any activity up to 75% based on need. I have a committee that reviews all of those. If I didn't, we wouldn't have any money. I would just give all the money away. So
Yes.
thank God for my committee. Right now, well, to date, by the end of this month, we have already provided assistance for 30 young people this year, which was our goal for the whole year. So we're going to crush that.
Yeah, you
already.
Yeah.
Because we've still got some room left in our budget for some one time. So we offer it for one time, like a league fee or a swimming lessons or things like that, or we offer it for recurring things like our monthly, if you wanted to have back handspring classes and pay for that once a month.
Yeah.
So we do it on a one time and recurring, and right now we've got people on our recurring waiting list, unfortunately, but we have some availability for those one time things
Gotcha.
still through the end of the year.
Good.
We're hoping to be able to open up some more, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
But on the other end of that, our other big program is our mobile sports locker. And it's so cool.
Okay. Talk to me about this. I haven't heard of this.
I know. I wish that it had been my original ideas. I'm the second leader in charge of Impact One. And this was Desiree's baby that got handed to me when I came in. But we didn't have anything to make it mobile. It was just a sports locker. So we had some new and used sporting equipment that was just hanging out. We were giving it away as needed. So I met with Everett. Of course, Everett always helps everybody with everything. And they gave us a grant my first year with Impact to buy a 9x12 cargo trailer. And I was trying to figure out, like, now what?
Yeah.
Like, how does this work now? Because it needs stuff on the inside for us to be like, I don't want to just pile it in there in boxes and be like, go dig through your box and find you a baseball glove.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Right.
So my friend Carl Gann at Central Arkansas Truck Accessories, he and I are in a networking group together, and I was like, I know the smoke was rising from the top of my head while I was on the IKEA website before our meeting started trying to figure out the dimensions for these shelves, and he just casually walked over and said, I have a store that does that, right? It's like, oh, what day can I bring it to you? What do you need from me?
Right.
So I dropped it off with him, and he literally just took it and ran. He gave me lights, LED lights and shelves and We have AstroTurf on the floor so that we can keep it clean. And it is stocked to the gills with new and gently used sporting equipment. So you can just have it. If you need something, you reach out to me and I give it to you. So whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
We have traveled. I did all of the statistics on it last night because it's mid-year, in the
Right.
nonprofit world, it's time to do all of that.
Right.
It has traveled 700 miles since
Mm.
January,
Wow.
and we have given out 263 items since the first of the year. So it is earning its title as Mobile Sports Locker and absolutely serving its purpose.
That is fantastic.
Thank you. It's a cool project. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah. So they can reach out to you, say, hey, I need, I've got a need for, baseball bat and glove,
Right.
and they can reach out to you, I'm assuming through Facebook or.
I feel like it comes to me at all angles.
Yeah,
So you can
yeah.
go on our website, impact1.org,
And that's
and fill out
EM.
EM.
Right.
Like we're special.
Yes.
EMPSCT. You can fill out a little, I love the little Google forms. You fill out a little Google form and it comes to me and I go look and then reach back out to you to set up how to get it to you. My most recent one this week was I made a post about somewhere we were on Saturday and she said, hey, do you have? And I said, well, give me 30 minutes and I'll let you know. And I was able to get some catcher's equipment for her just through Facebook Messenger. So, however, I'll answer to anything pretty much.
Yeah. So you service that Impact One in Saline County of Arkansas.
It is not just Saline County.
Okay.
We're primarily in Saline County.
Okay.
But Brooke Plack is our founder.
Uh-huh.
And she and I sat down, I guess the first of this year, and set out our 5-year strategic plan for the first time, which is terrifying
Uh-huh.
and absolutely exciting. It's like, oh, these are big goals. Like,
Yeah.
what was in our coffee this morning?
Yeah.
What were we thinking? We must have had exercise endorphins when we made this plan. Because, woo. But we're looking to expand our geographic footprint, whatever that looks like. So we're serving Saline County, Pulaski County. We've been into Hot Springs, into Garland County, and went to Perry County this year, and set up our sports locker for them. Went into Little Rock, to one of the schools down off of Baseline and set up this year.
Yeah.
We've really been all over the place, and we offered assistance in all of those places too, financially assistance in those places.
Okay. What a great ministry.
So good. So good.
And I know it warms your heart.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of got the best of the worlds that you love, which is, working with youth and how they can be an active part of society and
Yes.
helping to provide the services that they need to be able to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, who does not, a kid dreaming to play sports, but the household budget can't handle it,
Right.
And
those are the two big expenses, like having access to the activity and then having everything you need to be able to perform the activity.
Exactly.
So we wanted to clear out those obstacles and make that pathway clear to whatever that passion is.
Mhm. So does the family, is it like a application process? Do they have to be under a certain financial, what does that look like for them, for the family that's applying for this? I mean,
We wanted to look at it from all the angles because truthfully, I mean, if you've got a big family. So you've got a family where there's 10 kids,
yeah,
which is a thing in Arkansas.
right.
It's more common than we probably think it is. It's a thing. You could make $150,000 in your household and somebody look at that and go, oh, they've got plenty of money, but not when you've got all of these kids who then in turn have all of these things. You could be living well below poverty,
Right.
making that amount of money.
Right.
So to kind of combat that, we do ask for finances, so most recent tax return, but we also ask the person applying, whether it's family member or somebody through the school or whatever that looks like. We get a lot of grandparents,
Right.
which is near and dear to my heart,
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
But we ask for a letter from the person who's applying, the guardian or whatever, explaining why that they're reaching out for assistance. And then we also ask for something for the child Even
Right.
if they're little kids, like a drawing.
Right.
Color me something in a coloring book and scan it into your application,
Right.
whatever.
Well, they need to
Or a
feel
letter.
invested. They need to feel there's something about taking ownership of being
100%.
invested. Kids, I think that that's such a great thing that you guys do because kids need to understand that they need to feel ownership of
They
those
do.
things. If it's mom and dad providing it or an organization like Impact One where they can take part of that ownership that they have participated
Mhm.
and uh, it makes them have more, um, I think it helps them to take care of things better.
It does.
When kids have to
They've got
they have
skin in
to
the
put
game.
they have to put some sweat equity into
Yes.
it.
And that's why we only offer up to 75%.
Right,
Because if I pay 100% of little Johnny's, I don't know, hitting lessons,
right,
and he's supposed to go 4 times in a month for $100, and I pay that $100 and you've not had to be responsible for anything, then that little bit of, "Well, we're not out anything, so if he doesn't feel like going tonight, we'll just let him stay home. Or if he doesn't like it after the first 2, we'll just quit."
right,
But even if you've got a little bit of ownership or a little bit of skin in that game, if we pay the 75 and you're only responsible for the 25,
right,
that $25 keeps you honest, for lack
right,
of a better term, makes you wanna put your part in. So
right,
it's not just a handout, it's a hand up. It's a
right,
helpful instead
right.
of just doing it for you.
Right, right. Unlike the government where it's an all or nothing. You either get it all or you get nothing. Like, that's one of the things that really irritates me with, like the women that I work with. It's such an all or nothing, with the cycle that they're on. If you don't have a job, you can get assistance, but if you start making some money, you lose assistance. And
Exactly.
it drives me nuts.
There's gotta be some middle ground
Right.
there. Like, let me be as productive as I can without penalizing me
Right.
instead of encouraging me to just sit at
Well,
home.
because when it right, the encouragement and then we don't take responsibility and we don't take ownership of that, and we don't have the passion to grow ourselves because once we start growing ourselves, we lose the assistance that we have.
Exactly.
And, it's such a maddening cycle that
It
our government has.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It does, and, like I said, with the women that I work with, I see this all the time, and it just baffles me why our system is set up that way, because they need encouragement, they need to
Mhm.
put skin into the game
They do.
and take ownership of some of those things. It should not be an all or nothing, and it helps to build character.
I'm a firm believer that everybody needs a thing. Like,
Yes.
I don't care what your thing is.
Right.
I don't if it's, cutting your toenails in the front yard, if that's your thing, like, sit in the front yard, cut your toenails. Speedy, my husband, has heart problems,
Mhm.
and he had heart surgery in 2017. Oh gosh, I can't even remember
Been a
what year it
minute,
was.
yeah,
It's been a while, but his doctor at a certain point said, "You're gonna have to medically retire because you're either gonna work or you're gonna live. You're gonna have to
right.
pick one," and I was like, "Oh, I'll pick.
Yeah.
I've got this, like, we're gonna figure it out." But in that process of being on disability, becoming disabled, and then going through the process where you literally have to lose everything you own
Right,
to get on disability because you can't just do that.
right,
Um, Once he got on it, it was like, "Okay, well, you can't make any money. You can't be involved in anything. You can't do any," and that's just like, that's a recipe for disaster. Like,
yeah,
I watched him go
yeah,
down and down
right.
and down.
You
Like,
feel that you're not bringing any value
right.
to the table.
Right, he didn't have a thing anymore
Right,
'cause, all of his things had been taken away,
right.
and slowly he's built that back, but when I look back across that process, I think, like, "Why did we take away his thing in the first place?
Mhm,
What purpose did that serve?"
mhm.
So if we're building it into the kids or the young people in our community when they're young, like,
Right,
hold on to your thing, whatever it is, keep striving towards that. I mean, now, basketball was mine. I
right,
played basketball through college, and I did all the things, and when I graduated from college, I played a little bit minor league stuff in Little Rock while it was a thing. I don't even know if it's around anymore. It may still be, but when that was over, I thought, "It's gone. It's
mhm.
gone." Like, I'm too old, I'm too out of shape, I'm too all these things. But recently, the Arkansas Senior Olympics created the first 40-year-old basketball team. Just telling on myself. I refuse to believe that I'm in my 40s, but here I am. So my thing has come back around, and I was able to play on the first 40-year-old senior Olympics basketball team in the country, and we won the state tournament. So it's like, you never know. Like, if you keep hanging on to it, like, you never know when that worth is going to come back around. And of course, all of our worth shouldn't be tied to whatever that is.
Right.
But if it lifts you and it gives you something,
It gives you purpose.
we need to foster that.
Right.
And no matter, like, we've just run the age gamut there. You know, my husband's 11 years older than me, and he's got his. I've got mine. And then we're fostering it in these young kids. So, like, watching that through the lifeline is a cool experience for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do. I love how you make the kids participate in that application process. That to me is gold. I just really appreciate that you guys do that.
Thank you. And they don't have to know why.
Right.
They just know that they're doing this.
That's part of the
application.
application.
This is part of, I just need you to do this.
Mhm.
Tell me why you love cheer, or why you love dance, or gymnastics, or baseball. And, like, let's share that with our friends. They
Right.
don't need to know it's because we can't afford your lessons.
Right.
It's just you're sharing your love with people,
Right.
because it's important.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you guys are currently, are you still on the queen search, or what is it?
We're chasing the queen.
Chasing the queen. That's
Chasing the
what it
queen.
is. It's been several weeks going
It's
on.
like 31 weeks.
Oh,
This is our second
you're
time
running out of
around.
cards, aren't you?
We are.
You're
I'm
running
not
out
sure
of
how to
cards.
say about it. Like, I love it, and that it's continuing to bring in a little bit of that residual income on the
Right.
back end. But it's every week.
Yeah.
Every week we go
Yeah.
and chase the
Yeah.
queens.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. It's good to have Oliver be a part of it. Like,
I was going to say, you got your little helper with you, calling out the cards, picking the cards, right?
It's so boring on the weeks that he's not with me. And I know when I show up and he's not there, everybody in the crowd's like, it's just her.
Yeah, where's our Oliver?
But I'm enough.
Yeah. At least we want to believe that we are.
Yes, yes. I actually made the comment last week, like, I'm almost as cute as he is, and it was crickets. Come on, people. Give me a little bit.
So for Chase the Queen, people can buy is it $10 in?
$10 a chance.
Yeah.
So and you can buy as many chances as you want. One chance for $10. You could buy a million chances. That would make my day.
Right.
And we're only picking one card a week.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how many people are in the pot, only one person's going to get to draw. And if you're not drawn, your name stays in the pot. So if you've only bought one chance and your name gets drawn, then you're out. But if
Right.
you've bought 10 and your name gets drawn, you still have 9 more opportunities to get drawn again. So we pick, everybody buys chances all week long.
Right.
And then on Thursday at noon, I throw all of the names in the bucket into the big wheel.
Right.
And spin the big wheel. And fate chooses a person to chase the queen at 6:30 at Riverside Grocery. They have been so gracious to be our sponsor.
Yeah.
During their karaoke, which is all unto itself. That is a vibe. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And so at 6:30 on Thursday night, either the person comes and draws their own card, or if they can't make it, we don't make you have to be there to win. So I will send a picture of the board. They can pick their number and tell it to me, and we take care of them. And when we find the queen, the winner will get half of the pot of money, and the other half goes to tuition assistance.
Okay. It's a fun game, but that's a long
It is
time.
It is
52 cards in
It
a
is a
deck.
marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's daunting. Like, when we started over this deck, our first deck was at Revival, and it was really fun. I think we were like $2,300 was our final number there. It took us 23 weeks to get there.
Okay.
So when we emptied out the pot, I took like a 2-week hiatus to recover from having to do that every week,
Right.
all of these weeks. And to start back over at 0, it's just like, womp womp. Here we are at 0. Never anticipating we'd be, I can't remember if it's week 31, something around there, that we would be at almost $2,800
Yeah.
30 weeks later. Like, it's fun.
We, as people in nonprofit, we are constantly looking for ways to engage community and bring in support.
Yes.
And for ABBA Charities, we do a monthly bunko.
Yeah, and it's at the same time as Chase the Queen. As soon as we find this queen, I'm coming to Bungo.
As soon as Queen is found. We do the Bungo is the 4th Tuesday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the 4th Tuesday of every month. And we do that at, the Corner Downtown Boutique, which is Alana's,
We love
Alana's
her.
place. I know, she's such a dear friend, and so we, but us in nonprofits, we're constantly looking for those things to engage
We are.
community, to grow support, because the missions that we, are participating in and trying to pour into the community are such important pieces
They
of
are.
our community.
Absolutely.
Saline County has great nonprofits, and to me, there's not one. I mean, of course, mine, of course. Of course, all the charity.
My
shines
favorite.
all as hell. But honestly, we across the board, we just have so many great nonprofits that
We
do
do.
such great things for our community.
And we need all of
really
us.
Yes, we need all of us. We really have a special place here in Saline County, and, it's just phenomenal
It is.
to watch the community, come and be a part of the different things that, nonprofits have to offer to the community. And it's all about pouring in to help people be in a better place.
Yes.
I so appreciate what you are doing with the prom dresses with Impact One. Both of those are such great community resources for our young ones.
Thank you.
And for families. And so I would really like for you to take a moment, speak to our audience, because you probably have someone listening and thinking, um, as a mom, I'm so overwhelmed.
Right.
And as parents, when you can't afford something for your,
It's heartbreaking.
it's so
Oh, it is
heartbreaking.
crushing.
Yes,
Crushing.
it's crushing. And especially if, like, maybe like you were talking a while ago, you could be making 150,000 a year, but when you have a big family or your family has needs that puts you really, like, you may be making something on paper, but
It's only on paper.
yeah, it's only on paper because of different expenses, like us with Anne Marie, people don't understand, like, just her supplies alone.
Oh my goodness.
Every
I can't imagine.
month.
I cannot imagine.
And Aquaphor. Aquaphor alone, like, we spend about, just on Aquaphor, people, about $200 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Just on
By
Aquaphor.
stock and Aquaphor, that's what we're saying.
And so Aquaphor and, Epsom salt and baking soda. Those things right there that's $500 a month out of our budget.
And that's not optional. Like, these are necessity, quality of life.
Yeah, these are not things that we could just go without.
Or substitute it for something cheaper.
Right.
Like, what's cheaper?
Right.
There's not a thing.
There's not. There's not. And so, you have situations like that, and families, feel, and we're living in such a day where we feel like, just one more thing.
Oh my gosh. I feel that in my soul.
Right? It's just one more thing. But you want your child to be a part of these things, but you feel like it's hard when you feel as a parent that you can't provide that.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. And so I would like for you to really address that to the parents, whether it's about, helping their daughter feel beautiful for prom, or, the services that you provide through Impact One. I want you to speak to them and encourage their hearts,
Okay.
because they need that. They need that. And then also how they can connect with you.
In my heart, like, at the very bottom of all of this, it's that love for people. Like, I don't care who you are, what you look like, what you smell like, I don't care. I'll talk to you, I'll love on you, whatever. It doesn't make any difference to me. The hardest thing for me in observing people coming through this process, I was very blessed. Like, we were able, when I was a kid, we were able to afford things.
Right.
I had a lot of blessings. But I look at it from the perspective of my parents and from the perspective of Speedy and I when we were trying to provide for our kids, what that looked like. We had help. Like, they had grandparents who would step in
Right.
and pay for them. And that, a lot of people have that, and that's amazing. But I look back at me and I've talked with my mom about it some. Like, what would that have looked like for you? And the thing that I hear most often is, I can't possibly do that. Like, I can't ask for help. That's so shameful. What will people think of me? What will that look like of me? And that's what I want to get rid of. Like, life is hard.
Yeah.
And different people, their hard looks different.
Yeah.
Every day my hard looks different.
Right.
I never know what's going to happen or what unexpected thing is going to pop up.
Right. Pride easily steps in. That
Absolutely.
keeps us from asking for help.
We want to abolish that pride. And we've worked very hard to make our systems very simple. Because I think that's step 2. Like, once you get yourself out of the way and realize, like, these people just want to love me and they just want to help me. We get that pride out of the way, and then we make the system, like our government systems we talked about, we make them so complicated.
Right.
Like, we set you up to fail.
Exactly. Like, you're just over it.
So I want it, like, I've got you here. I want it to be simple for you. I don't want it to be a hardship. I want you to be able to knock it out. Like, the hardest thing you have to do for me is upload a document.
Right.
Like, I feel like, and if you don't know how to do that, you can call me and we'll work it out. Like, if I need to come to you and you can print it out and hand it to me, I'll do that.
Right.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Right.
You don't have access to that, we'll figure something out. You got a phone, you can call me, you can text it to me.
Right.
We can talk it through and I can provide a summary based on what you've said. So there's different avenues for that. We are accessible as possible. And above all else, we care.
Yeah.
Like, we are making this available to you because we care. It's not about shame. We're not sharing your information. Everything's very private. I mean, even taking it over to Project Prom, you won't ever see me share a picture of a girl in a dress or a boy in a suit because that's not anybody's business.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
I will tell you, this is the enormous amount of dresses that we gave away and accessories and all these other things, but you don't need to see who it is.
See, that's what one. Thank you for saying that, because in my ministry, I can't share.
Right. And it makes it hard.
It makes
Our
it
kids
hard
on
for
assistance,
people.
their parents don't want their pictures on our.
Right. It makes it hard for people to really understand how much the need is, especially, financially for a ministry, when the ministry can't share because of confidentiality, because we want to protect people.
I can show you a number.
Yeah,
I can give you a story.
exactly.
And you just have to trust me that these things are true, because
Right.
I can't tell you what little Johnny looks like.
Exactly. Exactly.
It
Thank you
is.
for saying that, because that is one of the toughest things that I run into in my ministry is confidentiality is so important.
Mhm.
You
It
know,
is.
if it's, protecting little Johnny's identity or protecting a mom from an abuser.
Mhm.
I mean, what we do impacts people's lives,
It
and
does.
it's, we're also in protecting their lives. We have to have some of that protection of their identity. If they want to share,
100%. It's share.
that's
And
all.
we have a couple of people, a
Yeah.
couple of moms who've been like, plaster my kid's face all over everything. Like, we're
Right.
just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for them.
Yeah.
But I'm also grateful for the ones who just aren't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they were brave enough to ask for help and receive it.
Yes. Yes.
So
So, anyways, thank you for saying that.
Of
Go
course.
ahead. But no,
Of
that just struck a chord with me, because, people. Someone told me one time that, well, people need to see the tangible. And I'm like, well, I can share stories and I can share
all day
numbers,
long.
but I'm not sharing faces.
Mhm.
I'm not doing that, because the people that I help are more important to me.
Right.
And keeping their identity and keeping their safety is more
Mhm.
important to me. And, even helping families with, going through the adoption process. Not every family wants their story out there.
No. We had a young man that we helped, um, it was a temporary recurring, so it wasn't 12 months, it was like 3 or 4 months. There were a couple who were nominated by a coach. Not I say nominated. The application was completed by their coach. And when I got the application from the coach, I called him. He's not somebody that I knew, but I called him. I was like, "We generally, like, are you their guardian? Do you have, like, some kind of say over them?" And he said, "Well, I've admitted them to this program, and we've let them go for free. We just can't afford to keep doing that. And here's why." So this story always sticks out in my head, and this is someone I would protect to the ends of the earth, and I've never actually laid eyes on him myself. Like, I
Right.
wouldn't know him if he walked up to me today. But one day, he's gonna be in the NBA, and he's gonna come back and give millions of dollars to Impact. I'm hanging on to that. Um, but this coach told me, like, this kid here, he wants to play basketball. He's in the gym every time the doors are open. He does everything he can. His 0 home life, his family, like, he knows his parents. They're available to him. His dad told me that he would rather see him sell drugs on Asher University than bounce a basketball because at least that's a marketable skill. And I was like, "What?
Yeah.
You're sentencing your kid to, like, a life sentence here. Like, you're putting his life on the line every day
Right.
when he has this passion and this love and this thing that he's good at,
Right.
that he's latched onto, and this is
Yeah.
it's like, let me call the committee.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me I'll call you back in a minute. Let me
Yeah.
get some people on the phone real quick." It's like, it was so dear to my heart, I just couldn't let it go.
Right.
And of course, when I shared the story and the rationale, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna make this exception. Like, we understand, but we also know he knows where the money's going to, and he can account for that. And,
Right. Right.
he is the organization."
Right.
So it was not a stretch for us at all.
Right.
But those stories, it's like, where's this kid gonna be without this activity?
Mhm.
Whatever that is.
Right.
On a street corner selling drugs. And if I can change his life, then everything we do is worth it.
Yes.
I've got 30 other stories that are or 29 other stories that are just like that. But that one, like, it
Right.
resonates in my heart for that lack of support. And then that one person who saw something in him and cared enough to say, "We're not doing this. Like, we're going to figure out a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
If you can't change your own life and your family's not down for it, then, I'm going to make this way for you, no matter what I have to do to
Right.
get you there." Just one of those, like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. But being able to stand in that gap for him
Yeah.
was enough. It was enough
Right.
for us at that point.
That's good. That's good. So tell people how to reach out to you for both of those.
Yes. So with Project Prom, I'm a one-stop shop through Facebook. Somebody told me the other day that only old people use Facebook, and I told them to shut up. It's not true.
They do. They do say that.
But it's mostly parents. Yeah, it's a mom. Every now and then I get a young person who reaches out to me on behalf of themselves.
Right.
But it's usually the moms who are messaging me, making an appointment for their daughters or trying to find seating for their sons. So Facebook is the one-stop shop for that, for Project Prom. Impact, there's a myriad of ways. You could go through our website, through our Facebook page. We have Instagram. I finally gave in and started putting stuff on TikTok. So I'm pretty sure you can get to me that way too, even though I know very little about it. Like, I was not going to add one more social media to my plate, and here I am.
Yes.
But so we're available through all of those ways, by email, by phone. I feel like, other than putting my phone number and my face on a billboard, that's the only way I could be more accessible,
Right. Right.
to our community.
And that's Impact One Foundation, and it's with the
EM.
PACT. Okay.
And we reach out, on both ends. So, and for both organizations, like, if you feel compelled to contribute to Project Prom, I can't help you from a 501c3 status, but I can tell you I'll put your money to good use.
Yeah.
But from Impact, if we have something that you need, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
If you feel compelled towards our story, towards being a part of what we're doing, we survive off of those one-time and recurring donations. Just, I mean, you live in the nonprofit world, so our donors, our sponsors, our corporate partners in the community give us life. We don't have a lot of expenses. I work from home.
Yeah.
I always tell people the Impact One Foundation offices are the second door on the left in the hallway of my house. That's where you'll find me, probably in my pajama pants, unless I have to go out into the real world. So we don't have overhead, we don't have office space, it's just me. So they pay me and I have a board of directors that helps. So we really are putting legs to your dollars and putting them right back out in the community. So if you don't need help and you can be a help, I would love to connect in that way too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Becca, thank
You.
you for your heart for the community and your heart for children and families. I just really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Something that's really bonded us
It
for
has.
years.
For a long
Time, and I just really appreciate that, and just even the impact and the grace that you showed us as a family with our daughter Anne Marie and setting.
She will always have a place in my heart. Always. You guys will too, forever.
I know we're just an extension of that. Like we're really not important. We're just her extension.
You just drove her to where she needed to be. That was it.
She does run the household, so she keeps all of us in line.
No doubt whatsoever. None.
But we just really appreciate you joining us today. And just remember that if you find yourself, you have a child that's looking at going to prom, don't stress about being able to provide a prom dress. That should not be something that you stress about. You have such a great facility here, a great ministry here that is ready to help supply that need for the dress because, oh my goodness, it's the dress, it's the shoes, it's getting all the things. And so you have a minute. I take it you guys will take jewelry and
We
stuff
take
like
it
that?
all.
Take it all. Okay.
I have handbags and shoes and jewelry of the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards. Yes.
So, you go and your daughter finding what's gonna make her feel so special, like a princess on that day. And if you have things that you would like to donate for the prom closet, I mean, just reach out to Becca and get those things to her. She likes to have everything organized by the first of the year.
As much as possible.
Yeah, as much as possible. So do it before Thanksgiving. Right? Before Thanksgiving would be great.
That would be
because,
wonderful.
Yeah, you can relax throughout the holidays. But get those things to her. And for our young men, we need those things too. I know that she would really like to grow that area for the young men because renting suits and buying suits is just as expensive as the girl, well, not as expensive, but it's still a process, especially if you're
is.
strapped.
And availability and sizing and all.
Right, the whole 9 yards, and then Impact One, what a great ministry that we have here in Central Arkansas of helping to provide resources to kids that need it. I mean, Becca, we want these kids to be all that they can be, right?
Yes.
We want them to be productive citizens of society, and part of that is getting involved in sports. I mean, it's such character building. I was big into sports growing up. I know you were. It impacts our lives and
Every day.
every day, and it gives us for me, it taught me skills, it taught me business sense. I mean, it taught me so much about being a leader and playing sports. I mean, a lot of people come out of sports as leaders, and so help know that you're helping to build those characters in these young ones when you participate in donating, sponsoring, and giving to Impact One. Your money is going to be stretched, and your resources will go to good community programs that we need here in Saline County and some of the surrounding counties. As a mom, as a parent, don't let pride stand in the way of reaching out and asking for help in these areas. Your name's not gonna be put out there.
No.
You're gonna be protected only if you want to put it out there. But know that there's people here that love you, that support you, and we want you as a parent to not feel such the strain that the world puts on us by all these other things when there are the resources to help you in this. That's why it exists, is to help you. And so don't feel like well, we make X amount of money or whatever, and don't feel like the application process is exhausting. Becca's here to help you. She wants you to
Mhm.
be successful, and she wants to love you, and she wants to help you through the process, and she wants your child to feel like they are special and honestly that they get to play a part in their future and pouring into being able to get these resources. What a great organization. And so I want to encourage you today to not let pride stand in the way. I thank you for joining us here at Candy Unfiltered. Remember, you can reach out to Becca through her Facebook pages and through the website of Impact One. Is that Impact One Foundation?
It's impact1.org.
Impact1.org. And remember, that's EMPACT, impact1.org. So reach out to her. Until next time, thank you for joining us here at Candy Unfiltered. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Please share this. You never know who this message can reach and how it can help them. And also, I'll put links down in the description to the Impact One. And also, I'm going to put a link into Candy's ABBA charities because with this is part of reaching women. This is part of
Absolutely.
encouraging, and so when you make a contribution, it helps me to be able to continue to pour into women, which is why we exist. Until next time, I'm Candy with Candy Unfiltered.
This episode is brought to you by Pretties and Grace, a faith-based boutique offering high-quality home decor and gifts at prices for every budget. From stunning vases and greenery to statement seasonal pieces for every holiday, plus the sweetest gifts, they truly have it all. Pretties and Grace has 3 locations, their main store in the heart of downtown Benton, along with shops in Malvern and Fayetteville. You can also browse and shop online at prettiesandgrace.com. A huge thank you to Pretties and Grace for sponsoring this episode.